phone keep going in and out like that. Welcome, 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 you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If y'all can like, share, and subscribe, I would love it. I promise you I would just love it. How is y'all doing today? I hope everybody has had a great day. This is Just Sylvie, and I am just here to set a spell with y'all. Look, just here to set a spell with y'all today. Let's talk about some things and some stuff. Come to bring y'all some of that 414, that one in the middle for a little bit of balance. Why? Because you can see things this way and they can see things that way. And if we just come together and attempt to have some effective communication, we may be able to get some understanding out of it. Have a mutual respect for another person's thought process. Because we're not robots and we don't all got to be sitting around here thinking like the other one thinks. That's a step in the direction of taking us to the plateau of the greatest us that there is to be. I feel like there is so much in being able to understand another person's point of view and not just thinking that everybody's point of view has to be your point of view and everybody's thought process has to be your thought process. That's not how any of this works. So y'all, I had went live on the 6th, and we basically today going to talk about the same things that I had went live on the 6th and talked about, because I'm thinking that I had wrong things in my hashtags, and YouTube just snatched my video. I have never had that happen before. I have had videos to be like, when I cut my stuff up, I have had stuff to be like, they block it or might not let that video get viewed or something like that. Never since 2021, which is when I began to come live on YouTube, have I ever had a live that was just taken away. I cut up y'all know, if you ever came on and watched me do live before, at the end, I do Hello Beautiful. So I cut up my Hello Beautiful, and then I went back to cut another piece, and what I'll do, because it takes about 24 hours for the live to process, but what I noticed since I've been doing this is you can go into YouTube Studio, and if you hit watch the video, it'll go ahead and put it on YouTube. So you'll see it in your videos processing, but you can also go ahead and cut it up because it'll share it from YouTube Studios so that you can open it up in YouTube, and that way you can go ahead and start cutting it up. So I go back because I'm getting ready to cut it up some more, and I look in my history because I know I can't go into my videos because that one is processing. But the one that shows up in your videos, you can open. I go back to my history, and it was easily it should have been easy for me to notice it because I said that on the live the other day. I never put my thumbnails, and I tried to use those thumbnails today. Like, I'm still new at all of this stuff, all that editing and stuff. People are like, you gotta be able to edit better, and I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn. So I go in and I put little pictures on, thinking they're gonna be good, and I just tried to upload them as my thumbnail, and it wouldn't accept it. And for some reason, my phone, the way it's taking my pictures as my thumbnail, I had to take 1,000,000 pictures. That's like my baby said when we be doing selfies. I thought that it was only me that, got to take 1,000,000 selfies sometime to get one that I like, because I don't always like it. I'm not going to post it if I don't like it. I took so many the first time that it just came out of the live and I had to start again just a while ago. But anywho, when I went to the history to look for my live video, it was not in the history. I'm like, why ain't it in the history no more? Like, I just cut it up this same day. It was the same day that I started cutting it up, just later on that evening. So I went into YouTube Studios. Before I even went to my videos, I went into YouTube Studios because I knew in my videos that one was still going to say processing. There was nothing I could do with that. I go into YouTube Studios and it's not there. So I go into my videos and I don't see it. You'll see it processing. You can't do anything with it. You can't tap on it or anything. So my crazy tail goes into my live videos and open up the last live I did. That's how crazy I am. Open up the last live I did. Welcome, y'all. I opened up the last live that I did in my brain. That's the live I needed. But remember, there was no thumbnail, not even my picture. It just showed my profile picture where I'm in my birthday dress. That's all that it had on it. So I opened up this video and then it starts and I'm like, what the heck? This not it. And then I come out the video and I say, you is the biggest clown. Look, I told the people that I love, that I call clowns, that I call myself a clown. Because men don't like that. But if you're in my vicinity and I have expressed that I care about you, you just may be a clown. My daughters be clowns, I be clowns, and once I explain it, I have had to explain it to 3 different men in my life, one of them being my brother. Like, it ain't just men that, that I deal with like that, and none of the men were, romantic. We were just close, intimate friends. No romance, no nothing. But they did not like it. But once I explained and also explained that I would call myself a clown because that was clownery. That was clownery. So we is just going to talk about the things that I talked about the other day on the video because I felt like they was important and they needed to be spoken of. And what about the first thing that I'm going to talk about, I did cut up a little video about it. I did go ahead and create a little video about it because it can happen. Y'all, if y'all go to the beach, if y'all is near the water and y'all like the water, that man said that the beach ain't ours. The beach is theirs. The beach don't belong to us. We're not supposed to be at the beach because the beach where the sharks be. And they is at all the beaches all up and down the East Coast every day. I've been looking at shark shit. I think it's the best time that I can say that. Okay, yeah. I've been looking at shark shit since last week. And I posted my little post on Facebook today. And I said, I don't even remember where it was or if it was even speaking about a specific place of a sighting last week. But all I know is when I was reading about it last week, it was basically saying sharks are coming more and more to the inlands. I thought that I turned that off. Sharks are coming more and more to the inlands. I'm going to call you back, Crystal. Sharks are coming more and more to the inlands. And they are beginning to be more and more prevalent in fresh water. It says they always have been in the fresh water, but now they are becoming more and more prevalent. Not just in rivers. Not just in rivers. You can find the sharks in the lakes. You can find the sharks in the lakes. You feel me? Y'all hold up for a minute. Let me just give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. You know what? Don't even worry about that there, because that becomes a distraction, and the goal is to learn how not to be distracted. I'll just call her back when I get out. I was gonna text her because she called me back to back, and just let her know that I was live. But I really thought that I had turned off my text now notifications. I thought that I had turned off every notification that might come in and distract me. But so that was the first article, and then this week, on Google, you know, when you open up a Google page, you start seeing different articles before you plug whatever you're going to plug into Google. So the first thing I see is sharks on Rockaway Beach. I said, Rockaway Beach, right? That's home. Like, it's not home now, but that's where I was born, if it's where I think it is, because it sounds like that's not my Queens, New York. So I'm nosy. When they said Rockaway Beach, I want to know what's the what. So I opened up the article and took the show. It was Rockaway Beach in Queens, New York. And I'm just like, oh, like, I got family that live out in the parks, and you know, even if they don't live out in the parks, they might go enjoy the beaches of the Rockaways. And I want to say I read something since then that incorporated Long Island as well. When I tell you, I have been reading about sharks, and it ain't been but one attack, but they are coming inland. On Rockaway Beach, they closed the beach down 2 days in a row, the 3rd and the 4th. So 4th of July, the people was out there trying to have a good time. That's when the man was like, to him, he was in awe because his son got to see a shark, I guess. Or, you know, he was like, my son had never seen a shark, so I'm assuming that maybe his son was able to see one of the sharks. They had, it was on Twitter, the deputy mayor of New York was warning about it. They closed the beach down for 20 blocks. 20 blocks. One shark was 100 feet from the swimmers. They showed you the arrow where you saw the shark in the water. They showed you the arrow where you saw the swimmers in the water. Ooh, too close for comfort, Lord. Too close for comfort. That used to be one of my favorite shows. So, then they also said that they noticed wildlife. Excuse me, not wildlife. A marine animal also on Rockaway Beach. Now, the deputy mayor didn't let you know what marine life it was, but two of the beach goers, one beach goer was like he believed it was sea lions. The other beach goer said, no, I got a whole mic. I got a whole mic. And I wear my stuff because I be feeling like I'm yelling and it was irritating my throat and stuff like that. Even though I'm right here on my phone, like, but I felt my throat just like feeling like it was trapped. The other beach goer basically was like, they had seen bait fish, and anywhere that you see bait fish coming together like that, there is definitely a humpback whale near. So the other beach goer is saying that it was a humpback whale because of the bait fish. All that I'm saying is be careful, because then I'm online the next day, and the man in Nantucket, and one of them came to the shore. One of them washed the shore at Rockaway Beach. So then we move on to Nantucket, which is in Boston, and the man catches a shark. I don't know if he had bait fish on his hook, I don't know. But all I know is that was also on the shore. He catches the shark and goes to throw the shark back in, and it bites him in the leg. So the man in Boston did get attacked, but they were not life-threatening injuries. So then we move along. Yesterday, Um, North Carolina, Carolina Beach. hmm Carolina Beach. They said they saw several sharks. So all that I am saying, I'm not gonna say that we not supposed to be on the beach. That's what the man said. We not supposed to be on the beach. Then this is what the woman said that was walking by with her daughter. So they must have asked her. I think they asked her, was she getting in the water? She was like, nope, absolutely not. No, I am not getting in that water. She said sharks are dangerous, basically, and I'm just kind of mulling over what she said. When I say I just didn't feel like turning that phone on and dealing with it and everything, so I'm gonna give it to you basically in a nutshell of what she said. She said, I don't care if they're big sharks, little sharks, jaws, I don't care. If they told you that there were sharks in that water and you decide to go back in that water, it's on you. So if you go in the water and you get chomped by the shark, just know they told you they were sharks in that water. She said they chomp off body parts. Now people that just absolutely positively have no fear, they're not gonna fear. They still going to get in that water because I'm like, Lord, the beach is there. I don't believe that you. I believe you put the beach there for us to share. But that man said a mouthful. Like that is their domain. The waters belong to them. If we going on the waters in boats and stuff, that's one thing. But anytime, because they didn't just start coming closer, they're just doing it more prevalently now. But I have been, for years, hearing about the sharks coming to the inland and the sharks in the river. This has been for years. But the fact that it's just been a week, and there have been 4 different places, Rockaway Beach, Long Island, Nantucket, Boston, and North Carolina. That's up and down the East Coast, man. Now I'm like, Lord, please don't let no sharks be in the waters when I go back on my next cruise because I like the waters. And look, my baby got it. I ain't going no deeper than my knees, but I like to go deeper than my knees. But it got me concerned about going deeper than my knees. It's no fair, no fair, no fair, no fair. In my Pet Cemetery little boy voice. Wasn't that Pet Cemetery? I think it was. Yeah. After he went to the cemetery and came back, the baby. I don't know if y'all ever seen Pet Cemetery, but into so yes, I'm just gonna try to hit on these things a little quickly and stuff like that. Cause then next you got the Alexa and Hey Google and the babies, and it's a trend, and you just because why must we jump on every bandwagon, parents, at the expense of our baby's fear? Like these parents are laughing at their babies because they are scared shitless of Alexa and Hey Google. I'm talking about as soon as they say it, some of them freeze, some of them run. One of the babies ran into the crib, and that parent was really just dying laughing. But the question that was asked about that video is, could there be a different frequency going on? And I would never call anybody's children anywhere near dogs, but dog whistles is only for dogs to hear. Could it possibly be that there is a frequency that only our babies are hearing? Because the oldest baby, and these babies was toddlers, 2, 3. The oldest one looked like he was maybe about 5 or 6. And he had a whole conversation with his mom. It's like it frightens me because it's so loud and to just be talking. So he started whispering. She was like, why you whispering? He was like, I don't want her to hear me. She was like, but it's not even plugged up. So he tiptoed over there to Alexa, and he saw that it wasn't plugged up. Came and threw his mom up the thumbs up, like, okay. But then came back over there and said, can we please go in the living room? Because it be talking to me. and it frightens me. But my question would be, why are all of these babies frightened of Alexa and Hey Google? Question number one. Question number two, why are the parents jumping on the bandwagon if they don't quite know? I hear adults talking about the crazy things that Alexa and Hey Google do. Calling people that you ain't told them to call. My people was like they was talking about somebody. And Alexa called the person, and the person heard them speaking about them. And yes, you may go straight to it. They shouldn't have been talking about them. Alexa shouldn't have been calling them. They didn't say, hey, Alexa, call so-and-so. I'm reading more and more posts about this AI because Alexa and Hey Google is just another form of artificial intelligence. And how crazy it's getting and how scared people are using the word scary. How scary it's getting already. I robot much. You be having people on look. I was watching a video the other day. This woman was huge, but it was with the appearance that she had about 5 or 6 children. She's holding them in her breast area. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is so AI right here. And I'm not even saying I'm perfected at knowing when it's AI, but I know when I believe something is AI. And when I go into the comments, generally somebody else is like, this AI, people, you know. So I'm like, this is so AI. So when I went into the comments, the very first comment was like, this AI stuff is getting really, really scary. She said, but what's even more scary is people in this comment section congratulating her when there's a baby behind her crying. Like all the babies was right here, and then there was a baby behind her back. And the baby wasn't there at first, but then as the camera moved around, you saw the baby sitting behind her back. So what's she doing? She just laid one of her babies back there and so that she could squish it. Like what the heck? And my third question would be, just what if there's something going on a little on the supernatural realm, because this is the place where, you know, see that there may be another side. What if there's something going on in the supernatural realm that your babies, because they're so much closer to being able to receive wisdom, which is what that Bible verse is going to be about. They are so much more susceptible to being led and guarded and conversing. And when I went live the other day, I talked about all the conversation and the leading in the garden ain't wisdom always. But if they are much more susceptible, how do we know what they hearing? What vibration, what frequency is coming out of Hey Google and Hey Alexa while we are laughing at the babies while we attempt to go viral on our baby's back? I don't know. I just be having questions sometimes. So if you would like to give me a little answer, then yeah, that would be nice. Okay, so I didn't talk about this the other day, but I am going to talk about it today, okay? Because I just came off the Carnival cruise, right? And Carnival is changing a whole lot of their laws, and there is a debate as to whether it is racism, because it's appearing that it is targeting a certain demographic of people, or is it just targeting the ratchet, hood rat, niggerish mentality? And before we try to take that to race, let me tell you what I commented on that video after Lovely T, because I was watching Lovely T. After Lovely T said that is not a black thing, that is a mentality. I said yes. If you don't believe that it's not a black thing, go on down there to NASCAR and see how ignorant they be getting on all them drinks. But when you put drinks into it, a lot of ignorance starts coming out when people don't know how to handle their liquor. One of the changes on Carnival is that they were, I believe, going to discontinue the all-you-can-drink. I know my people was like, I got 15 drinks a day. When I tell you, them men started drinking early, but that's what they all said. And now, not another of the men that was on the cruise with me is ignorant, is a ratchet. They are all hard-working men who, when you asked them why they were starting so early, they said, I'm on vacation. We won't loud. We won't ignorant. The men drunk till their hearts was content. And we enjoyed ourselves. Now, on the other hand, like I said, if they don't want to show it on the Carnival cruise, take a ride on down there to a NASCAR event. Because I was appalled because they get a little ignorant out there. They get a lot ignorant out there, some of them folks. It was a lot. It was a lot. But media gonna show you what media gonna show you and portray things how they're gonna portray things. And you even had black people that wanted to just put it on food stamps and EBT. It's the EBT crowd. First and foremost, research shows that people that look like me are not the majority of those that's on EBT. Second of all, being on EBT does not make you ratchet, ignorant, or Igorish. None of the sort. Third of all, as I commented on Lovely T about anybody who would try and make it a black thing that wasn't black, I hold fast to speaking to the people that are black who try to make it an EBT thing, or because you live in the hood or the ghetto thing. Y'all vibrations is much lower than the people that Carnival may be talking about. Y'all need some of that helpful self-analyzation that this Bible verse that we speaking about today is calling for. Anytime that you think that you can degrade an entire people because of your thought process of some people that you see cutting the food, again I'll say, I promise you it's not a lot of people that look like me at NASCAR. And I didn't even like NASCAR. Take me to the drag strip all day. I did not like NASCAR. It was just a whole bunch of round and round I go. And it made me feel dizzy. I did not like it. I like drag strip race carring. My uncle raised me well. He don't do NASCAR. He do drag strip. Yeah. But anywho, everything that she named just sounded like something where they're making the attempt to keep down the ghettoosity. And people want to, just the speakers said you can't bring speakers anymore. Now, can you imagine, because I be on the bus. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys would love it if you like, share, and subscribe. I be on the bus. And I have had plenty of cars, but sometimes I be a bus rider. If you're on the bus, you cannot just play your phone. You have to have earbuds in. The bus driver will tell you to have earbuds in. I think it is the very most ignorant thing to be in any public place. And I got to hear what's on your phone. even if I play my phone, I try to turn it down so low. If there's something that I'm trying to hear, I try to turn my phone down so low so that only my ear can hear it. But if you got your boombox speakers and you was playing your ratchet music, I might not like the music that you playing. Might not like the music they're playing on the cruise, but guess what? That's the cruise music. It's what they do. But then I gotta be subjected to yours. And I might do like the musical when I tell you, and I hope they don't stop stuff like that. But the man came over there, and I missed it because I wasn't up on the Lido deck when the man came over to my family and started playing his guitar. They say he played Purple Rain, Purple Rain, Purple Rain, Purple Rain. Purple rain, purple rain. And I missed it. But I saw part of the video and that man was doing his thing. But guess what? If Carnival came to him and said, you can't play your guitar, sir. You can't do that. Then what are you going to do? Say, oh, yes, I can. That is day shift. That's day shift. Said that you can't cruise by yourself if you're 18 and under. You have to be with a 21-year-old. Why? Because this generation don't like to be told anything. How much more if you on a Carnival cruise? Y'all don't want to be told nothing anyway. And Carnival, what they gonna do on a Carnival cruise? Come back with you? Go back and forth when they're trying to set rules in place. They said that the 18 and youngers had to be in the rooms by 1 a.m. And Lovely T was like, I think 11:30. I think 1 a.m. She was like, you can fall overboard. And I think that a baby just fell overboard on her. So much has gone down on the Carnival since I got off mine. And I'm just like, Lord, you know your baby, Lord, and yeah, I was out there, and that was fear conquering, and now I'm going back out there again, and whoa, this stuff is going on. But I'm not going. It was a young lady who was like, I'm just not going to go on my Carnival cruise because I think that they are trying to be racist. I thought that the no hip-hop in the club thing was a bit much. However, because, hey, what I say about over here, Sylvie's one in the middle. Balance. First and foremost, when I go to the club, because I go to a club because I like to dance. And I haven't been in since, I went in there at the club on the Carnival cruise, but I couldn't do a whole lot of dancing. I had to dance with my upper body, and I couldn't dance like I wanted to because the knee does not want to dance. And I wound up having issues with my knee on the cruise between all the walking and then trying to dance, even though I thought I was just dancing with it. Like I said, I have video to show that I was just dancing with my upper body, just standing on my lower body, and it doesn't even really like that. But anywho, the majority of what they played in there that night was hip hop music, and I was like, oh, and I never said it to anyone of my family or friends that I was with. But in my mind, I was like, oh, they just playing so much hip-hop music. I was like, they did not play any reggae. Like, I love my reggae set. But in my mind, I'm glad they play reggae because that would have been trying to really make me in there and use my leg in the way I believe that was God. Give me no reggae because I can kind of control not moving on that knee with just that hip-hop. But if they put that reggae on, it might have been a different story. I might have had to go sit down and not be on the dance floor at all during the reggae set because I've been in there trying to do things and stuff that my knee definitely wasn't going to like. But anywho, Lovely T said that they played reggae when she went into the nightclub. But they played a lot of hip-hop, and I was like, there's no variety here. And one person was defending, well, they have this night and they have that night. And I'm like, well, they ain't even on it. It didn't call it a hip-hop night. I mean, like, if it's, for a more soulful crowd, like, we like all kinds of music. Like, I like all kinds of music when I go into the club. But, let me say this. they may be removing that hip hop. You remember them 15 drinks a day that I told y'all about? And you could drink 15 drinks a day and you might start drinking them like at 9 and 8 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the morning. And I said that my crowd knew how to handle themselves. Everybody don't know how to handle themselves, especially them 18-year-olds that don't want, but they're not even supposed to be able to drink anyway. But even the people that 21 that close to their age, because they still kind of got somewhat of that 18-year-old mentality sometimes. Anybody that feels like it's just okay to cut the fool and don't want any consequences and repercussions is very entitled. Very entitled. You get out there and you done been drinking from yay sun up to yay sundown. Then you go in the club and hip hop just hypes you up anyway. I am not on this bandwagon that says hip hop is just low vibrational music, because there is some very good hip hop music out there. So phooey and fiddlesticks to the people that's just talking just negatively about hip hop music. But when you have a mentality, it still goes back to a mentality. When you have a mentality in there that wants to feel free to do what they want, when they want, how they want, and yet knows nothing about self-control, they are definitely a city without walls. Yeah, they may just have to do something about that music. They may feel like you're going to calm your nerves just a little bit more if the music ain't so hype. They crack down on the what you bringing up there to drink. Anywho, my cousins, they took my people's water and they wine. They took their water and their wine. I just texted my cousin the other day and I was like, would this be okay for water? Because I need water when I go up there. And she was like, we gonna have some water. No, because they took it. You cannot take plastic bottles of water. They have to be in cans or glasses. And said that they will open them and sniff. Now, we saw the dogs. When we was getting back on from Turks and Caicos, we saw the dogs at the other ship. They wanted our ship. They was at the ship right across from us. There were two of us that docked. Them dogs was at that ship. I didn't see, look, they showed one video of the babies. And I say the babies, meaning that these are probably maybe 18 to 25ers. Because when I looked at this video and saw them steps, I'm new to the cruising. That was my first cruise. But I said, oh, those are steps right there, which means that they are in the area of the elevators. Anywhere there are steps, the elevators may be somewhere around. Or it's something, I know that there were steps close to one of the restaurants that we went in. If the elevators ain't close to it. But the steps are a public area. It's not a party area. Them babies had a party. Which means they was in there flipping, back flipping, front flipping. Which means that the people that were coming down the steps now have to be hindered because there's so many of y'all right there in that vicinity. Got to concern themselves with, whether you're going to flip and kick them in the head or something like that, or got to wait for you to stop flipping. Why must I have to go through that? Why? Why they do that? I'm just saying. That's a lot. That's a lot. Like, you can't just go anywhere. There is a place and a time for everything. And if you are 18, 25, and you got your own place at home and nobody telling you what to do, cool. If you live with your parents and your parents don't discipline, cool. But because your parents don't discipline does not mean that you get to go everywhere. and act rowdy. That's what that verse is about. It's speaking about wisdom from the vantage point of whether your parents guarded you, led you, and conversed with you about wisdom. Because parents lead, guard, and converse. Sometimes it's about how to go get that bag. Sometimes it's about how to be a gangster. Sometimes it's about how to be a bad kid. Sometimes it's about how to hate people. Because we are never, ever going to say that the Most High Yahweh hates anybody. So anybody, that's why I said they more low vibrational than the people that they're talking about. Anybody who is coming from a hateful place about these changes on Carnival. Anybody that is teaching their babies to hate is at the bottom of the barrel. Bottom of the barrel. I tell you yes. Let's see what we got to talk about there. Let's see. What in the barrel? Oh, we're gonna read this word, and then we gonna, cause yeah. I got 2 more stories, so we're gonna read this scripture. Because if you out there cutting food like that, it makes me beg the question, what is it that you are being conversed with about? How is it that you're being led? How are you being guarded? Those are the questions that I ask if you just gotta cut the food like that and think that there should never be any consequences or repercussions or anything to that effect. And we will not just put this on black people. Why? Because that black man on TikTok, when I watched that video, because someone went on to say he did not get arrested, but they were on a Frontier flight, and he put them paws on that man, and that man looked like he was of another race. And all I said was, Lord, you know how Portia got in trouble because Kenya put that scepter. Oh yeah, where them fans at? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? No more fans on the Carnival cruise either. Now, Lovely T's take on that is a fan probably in somebody's face, or you put the fan in somebody's face in a threatening way. I don't know, but no more fans on the Carnival cruise. And when I say my baby was on cue, where them fans at? One of my people's babies had her fan when we was on the cruise, and you said where them fans at, and she was gonna show you where them fans at. But the man on TikTok, when I went into the comments, it said, because all I said is, Lord, you know how Portia, there is a such thing as being an antagonist, but an antagonist does not, being an antagonist, while it can get you caught up in a physical thing, because I antagonize you, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you, but you're in my space. And some folks is not going to allow you to be in their space without getting you out. When Kenya put that scepter in Portia's face, she took it across Cynthia's face, put it in Portia's face, and kept talking to Portia with the scepter really, really in her, I'm not touching you. And Portia grabbed that scepter. And then Kenya grabbed the bullhorn and started talking with the bullhorn. Cross Cynthia, that's Real Housewives of Atlanta, y'all. Portia starts grabbing, Kenya starts talking with the scepter, with the bullhorn in Portia's face. And Portia just got up and laid her down. Portia had to go home. Why? Because Kenya didn't touch her. Kenya didn't touch her. And that's a big reason that the Lord be telling me do not allow my buttons to be pushed, because, I understand. Candy and Nene said it. Cynthia, while she defended Kenya to the mat, came back in the next season and said that you are antagonizing when you get into someone's personal space. Now back to the man on Frontier. Because I said, Lord, really don't look like that man just decided he was going to get up and fight. It seemed like this dude might have gotten his personal space. When I went on to the comments, it said that the other man just walked up to him for no reason and put his hands around his neck. That is way more than personal space. I ain't saw this in a minute. You can't tell nobody how to get paid. Clap back. You can't tell nobody how to get paid. Clap back. You better keep them scepters to yourself. You better keep them comments to yourself. But for real, you better keep your hands to yourself. Because O'Shea just talked about that woman that got laid down. He said he couldn't show the fight. I don't even know if he put the link in there to link you to where the fight was. But the woman got laid down by a man because, ladies, it goes for you too. You cannot put your hands on a man because you think because you're a lady, he's not supposed to touch you. Because if you put your hands on somebody, they can put their hands on you back. And you can't tell nobody how to get they clap back. You can get really hurt putting your hands on people. Kenya got hurt just by invading Portia's space. That man had bleed in my babies. That's what my babies used to call. He had bleed. That man put them paws on him in my scrappy voice. Now, let's read this word. It is Proverbs 6, verse 22. When thou goest, it shall lead thee. When thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. And when thou awakest, it shall talk with thee. This is based off of parents who have raised their children on wisdom. But when I went on to speak the other day, I said, parents don't always raise your children, but wisdom is there. Wisdom crying out from the rooftops. There is always a way to find wisdom. There is always a way to get godly wisdom. If it's going to lead thee, it's going to show you how you should act and how you should live and how you should move about in social settings. If it's going to guard you, it even talks about when you sleep. If you are conscientious to it, if you are conscientious to wisdom, it's going to keep nightmares away. It's going to make you rest and sleep in perfect peace. It's going to show you which way to go and which way not to go. When it says it's going to talk to you, wisdom will have conversation with you. It'll allow you to meditate. It'll allow you to stop and think and breathe. Wisdom is not going to have you out here cutting the food. But as I stated, if you're leading and you're guiding, it's from a very fleshly standpoint, or a very boastful or haughty standpoint, or a very hateful standpoint, then it's going to have you out here cutting the food. It's going to have you out here hating a person that you don't know. It's going to have you out here believing that I can drink how much I want, when I want, where I want, I can act how I want, I can do what I want, and no consequences are going to come to me. And that, my dear heart, is a lie that Satan told you. Because there are consequences and repercussions for any action. For any action. I bet that man on on that Frontier plane didn't expect that he was gonna get pummeled that way. But you put your hands on somebody. Did his mom and dad guard him and lead him to think that it was okay to just go be putting your hands on people like that? That is not okay. You can take it to the bank that wisdom is going to make one desire to sweep around their own front door before they try to sweep around yours. I don't own the rights to any of this music. Wisdom is going to make one desire healthful self-examination. Period. People think that they self-examinate because they go out and they move into nice houses and they have nice jobs and they, you know what I'm saying, and they spend their money how they want to and they can go where they want and everything like that, while your insides is rotten. Your insides don't got no color, only your shell got a color. And if your insides is rotten, there's no healthful self-examination there. And this is not negating trauma. Trauma is a biatch. Childhood trauma is a biatch. But if we don't have healthful self-examination, childhood trauma will overtake us and come into our lives and present as so many things that we think is making it. Well, living my best life. But is it godly wisdom? Is it telling you the path that you should be taking in reference to the path that you, in comparison to the path that you should never go down? Because as I've always said about wisdom on this platform, in this ministry, it's sometimes wisdom and folly may look just alike. But it ain't. Because wisdom is going to lead you down the right path, and folly is generally going to lead you down the right now path. A path that you may live to regret. A path that may lead to disgrace. A path that there is no God in. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then shall I hear from heaven, forgive their sins and heal their land. That speaks to us. We be some of the haughtiest. There's no wisdom in haughty because God hates that the most. So there was these two sisters, right? This is Strawberry Manor. That's in Philadelphia. There was these two sisters, and one of them evidently was inherited, one of them inherited a home. The other did not like that the one inherited the home. Sherry Jackson is the one that inherited the home. Fayette Newell is the one that did not, and she did not like it. So word on the street became that she was going to burn the house down with her sister in it. And she made good on her word. Now, I don't remember the gentleman's name, but if you look up Fayette Newell, Feitte, Newell, it's going to tell you the man that was with her. I don't know who he was to her. But they decided to burn down the house. Sherry Jackson was in that house. Her great niece was in that house. I don't know if they had other siblings or if this great niece was connected to the sister that burned the house down. Don't know. Sherry's daughter was in that house, who was 8 months pregnant. And Sherry's 2 grandchildren, the daughter's children, were in that house. Sherry no longer has a daughter. Sherry no longer has 2 grandchildren and a possible. Because Fayette did not allow wisdom to lead her and to guard her and to converse with her. And we can go back to, we can try to go back to, how they may have been raised or anything like that. Because as I said, trauma ain't no joke. And why Fayette didn't get the house and why Sherry got the house, we can go back to all of that. But wisdom will lead you and guard you and converse with you if you allow it. Mental health is a real thing. We don't know if Fayette had mental health issues. But I say, on this platform, if you can't do it alone, you should go get help. But if we are fighting with our mental health, that is still not an excuse for violence. It's never going to be an excuse for violence. I talked about and being violent with oneself, and I won't even call that being violent. Let me choose better words. Inflicting harm on oneself is something different than inflicting harm on people. Yes, you will hurt the people around you if you decide that you cannot, in your mental health, you cannot take life anymore. I talked about Young Noble. He was an outlaw, a member of the group Outlaws. They did music. They did their own music, but I remember them from Tupac. And he took his life. His very last post on Instagram was one encouraging others. So even in his most desperate place, he was encouraging other people. His harm was to himself. Did it take his family out? Probably. But he didn't go out there and hurt anybody else while dealing with his mental health. It does not give you an excuse. We would want that you wouldn't hurt yourself. I told my people, like, it crushes me when I know that people can't take it anymore, because I understand about mental health. I understand about living a hard life, and I know people have lived a life harder than mine, but I've lived a life hard enough for people to tell me I need to write a book. I will say that. It crushes me. It crushed me when Robin Williams exited this life. I love Robin Williams. But I definitely understand the concept. That's hopelessness. And while the Most High does not want us to be hopeless, that would be the same thing with not giving us the spirit of fear. These are God's desires for us, because God knows that we get to these. God knows that we fear. God let us know, I didn't give you that spirit because I don't want you to keep it. I didn't give you the spirit of hopelessness because I don't want you to feel that way, but not because you ain't going to. No. No. People feel hopeless on a regular. So I can imagine maybe Fayette had a hopeless feeling. Maybe she was just angry. But whatever the feeling, you brought all of that feeling that you had for your sister. Was a house worth it? Like taking your niece out? Taking your great nephew and niece out? I think it was a boy and a girl. Taking another potential nephew and niece, because Sherry made it. The mom made it, and she had her great niece in her arms. She jumped out the second story window, and they lived. Now she got to go on without her daughter. And I don't know what her feelings were about her sister. But her sister, they don't have the opportunity to be in life anymore because Fayette is locked up. They might not let her out. So we have to think about how we're being led and how we're being guarded. Allow wisdom to lead us and guard us and converse with us. Go get help if you cannot do this on your own. Because you be wanting, she ain't gonna never have a house now. I guess her thought process was, if I can't have it, then you can't have it. But golly, you have that much angst in your heart for your sister. She said you were gonna burn it down with her in it, which in my mind made me feel like you hated your sister. Your family, period. I find that hard to have compassion. And God be having to deal with me because there was babies in the house. It had nothing to do with it. Nobody had anything to do with your feelings. That is why God wants us to have self-control. That is why feelings and emotions have to be placed in check. That is what the helpful self-examination is. So that we are not consumed by the way we feel. So that we are not consumed with being overly emotional. That's all. That's all. Now let me tell y'all about the next story. This Spaghetti Junction. Woo. This was a doozy. And I'm going to start this one off by saying, the first place that I got the story was from Cashflow Harlem. He's on YouTube. Y'all should go follow him. He's a hip-hop artist, and he raps his commentary. And although he brings heavy commentary, the fact that he rapped it just is so original. Like, I love that about his commentary. But then when I found that it was Spaghetti Junction, it was because I went to ATL Bistro. He's on TikTok. ATL Bistro is like, why ain't nobody talking about this story? And when you go and Google this story, and I don't forgot the young man's name, but put in Spaghetti Junction, man jumps off the bridge in Spaghetti Junction in Florida, in Georgia on Father's Day. All of the story is only on social media. World Star News, and my crazy tail went into World Star News and looked at the video of the man. I didn't know about the show. I did not know. Y'all, welcome, welcome, welcome. Even though we at the end, I still welcome you. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. So, Brandon, Mark, Cassandra. Donovan. Mark is the man who jumps name. Donovan, Mark's brother. Cassandra, Mark's wife. Donovan, 28, spent 7 years in jail. Mark, 48, Cassandra, 28. ATL Bistro talked about the triflingness of the woman, and I kindly went onto his post and said, if she is trifling, how much more this man's brother? Y'all know where this story going already. So Mark is very successful, but he's infertile. Cassandra knows he's infertile. She has had her husband's back. Donovan been in jail for the last 7 years. He went down the wrong path. And that's why I say, I think no helpful self-examination on either part. Because it was like Mark was a daddy to Donovan. He gave him 6 months to find a job. Donovan needed an address. And so Mark allowed him to come stay there. He gave him 6 months to find a job. He had not found a job in 6 months. 18 months later, Mark and Cassandra have a baby. Yeah, because Donovan laid his sister-in-law down. And Cash Flow Harlem said he put 7 years into his sister-in-law. Laid his sister-in-law down. 18 months later, still no job. He's laying on the sofa. He told Cassandra that he wanted to be like his brother. Sometimes you have a familiar situation, if it had anything to do with their raising, where two can come out and go into totally opposite directions based off of how they saw life going as they were being raised. Sometimes that person that goes out and gets the bag and, makes a success of themselves still has not done the inside work, but they attribute that, I said that earlier, with making it and suppress any trauma that has gone on in their life. But that can come back to bite you. It can come back to bite you. If you are not doing your inside work, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care. Money is never going to make your insides right. Money is never going to make trauma be gone. Robin Williams had a lot of money, and he still felt hopeless. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not blaming Mark, believe you me. But what I say is, if Cassandra was trifling, how much more was Donovan, because Donovan was Mark's brother. And Mark, because 18 months later, Donovan's laying on the chair. Mark comes to him because he sees his phone and he sees the phone is open. He's going to go and put a job application as his wallpaper. Could have just put him out. Like, I gave you your 6 months, I gave you 18 months. Could have put him out. Because at some point that became enabling. If he had to go back to jail, hey, I gave you the opportunity to go get some work, bro. That's not the choice that he made. So he's gonna go and put a job application, like putting a job application like he forgot. He ain't forget that you told him to have a job in 6 months. 18 months later, he ain't forget. So when he goes into the phone to put this job application as his wallpaper, he then sees a text message from his wife saying, "I think we made the biggest mistake. We shouldn't have did it because I don't think the baby is his." Then Mark goes and he has a DNA test to find out that he is not the daddy. And he jumps from Strawberry Junction. Go Google Strawberry Junction. Excuse me, Spaghetti Junction. Go Google Spaghetti Junction in Atlanta, Georgia. He jumps. That we have to be able to be led by wisdom. If we are giving up in the day of adversity, then we are not being led by wisdom. We are not being guarded by wisdom. And we can debate this. We are not being conversed with by wisdom. If we can turn our backs on the people that love and do for us the most, we are not being led, guarded, and conversed with by wisdom. We can debate, because two things can be true. At the same damn time, I can have the utmost compassion for people who take their lives. But if we do it, we are not being led, guarded, and conversed with by wisdom. We are allowing our situations and our circumstances to consume us. Because hopelessness is the epitome of walking in our emotions. I can't not speak what the Most High tells me to speak. I can definitely have compassion. But we have decided that there was nothing else that we can do, but we don't know that. So y'all, I thank y'all for sitting with me a spell. We done talked about Hey Alexa, we done talked about the Carnival cruises, we done talked about some sharks and marine animals. We done talked about the sister who just did not want her sister to inherit the house, and then we talked about Mark, whose brother and wife decided that they was just gonna choose to betray him. Hello, beautiful. Are you being led? Are you being guarded? Are you being conversed with? By whom, you ask? By her. Her name is Wisdom. We don't always get the leading and the guarding and the conversation that we need when we coming up. Our parents ain't always at a place where they can give us godly wisdom. Sometimes they teaching us things and stuff that's going to take us down a path that we don't need to go down. But godly wisdom is there to lead us in the right path, to guard us even while we sleep, and to converse with us from the time that we open our eyes. Beautiful. Sylvie loves you, and she is out. And I'm not going to cut up that hello beautiful because I already cut up.